Yeah, check. Yeah. No, we can't wait. Nah, we can't wait. We taking our position and we making our decision, cause we can't wait. Nah, we can't wait. Yeah. Make some noise. Get involved. Let your voice be heard.
Out to everyone that feels like they got a piece of duct tape over their mouth, so when they want to speak but they can't say anything, so it's time to break it off. It's time to shake it down. I'm improvising lyricist, one at a time, writing everything down of what's stirring my mind because of burning inside, changing my direction, but just turning my eyes made me into my attempted election. Already said, let it go. A lyrics like a record ball, I'm heading home. I'm ready, in the songs that I made a home, made me know how it works, walking away like Mercedes, a phone.
The kind, the intelligent, Joe Opatowski.
I don't think we were expecting that day to have as much impact on us as it did.
It's just a basic question I ask a lot of people. How's everybody doing today?
I think what made him different from other speakers was that he was just over my age, you know? He was still young.
Let me give you somebody else's answer to that very same question.
I mean, just like right when he opened his mouth, I think every student was just completely enthralled by his speech and just totally captivated by his words.
After they kidnapped us from our village, they threw us into a pickup truck and drove for hours. He said that now we were going to be part of his army. I looked around me and all I saw were my friends.
I would say within the first 5 minutes of his speech, the entire school, we knew that this was going to lead to something a lot bigger.
One of the boys in the corner of the circle was the first to cry out. He called out the words, "I want to see my mother." The soldiers all laughed. The master simply walked over to him, muttering the word "coward" under his breath, and as they walked over, quickened his pace and just picked him up by his shirt, dragged him across the room, threw him into the middle of the room, and screamed the words, "You will never see your mother again!"
Our school had never heard anybody like him before.
My best friend was standing beside me. The master heard him sniffle and simply handed him the axe and said the words, "Kill that boy." As he started to cry and now as he started to beg, he was pushed into the middle of the circle. And in that last second, we all watched my best friend drop the axe. And as it fell, he turned around to look me in the eyes. At that moment, the master pulled out his gun and shot him directly in the head. The master walked over to the axe, kind of annoyed, picked it up, and had me. And the reason why I'm still alive today, the reason why I'm still here, is because I killed that man. This is not my story, fortunately for me, but this is a true story. And unfortunately for the 12-year-old boy who grew up in Sierra Leone, this was a reality and this was a story that he told.
I feel the pain dark and vivid inside my veins.
Joe was just the epitome of passion. I mean, he took it to a whole different level. I mean, he took survival to thrival. I mean, he took simple actions to a revolutionary action. I mean, he took everything that could be ordinary and he turned that into something that's extraordinary.
Who knows how to stand on their hands? Let's stand on our hands. Don't hit anybody. Yes. I'll hold you. Go. There you go. Say hi to Canada. Hi, Canada.
He was just so full of emotion and full of love for so many people and so many things.
Nothing is impossible. And they tell us war is never going to go away. They say poverty is never going to go away. They say hunger is never going to go away. But they also told us that a black person would never be able to vote.
He's one of a kind, and he will always be one of a kind.
They said that we would never be able to fly a plane. They even told us that you can't get cheese inside a pizza crust.
All right, take it easy.
But home for me was very much of a different situation. It was one that was not very much fun. On a regular basis, sometimes my mom would disappear, my dad would disappear. You know, I come from a home with a lot of abuse and with, like, my mom used to attempt suicide like it was a hobby, things that some of you know about. Eventually, when I was 17, I had to leave the house, started making what they call questionable decisions in order to survive, but eventually got myself on track, graduated high school, and I'm happy to be here today.
He stopped doing a lot of the drug dealing that he was doing, and so he decided, you know what better way to help myself than help the world.
I'm a fire starter, starter. I'm a starter fire that no water can be disappointed, ignited, lighted.
Child labor is caused by something called poverty, and poverty is just a fancy word for not having a whole lot of money.
I knew that there were children starving in Africa, but I didn't know to the extent. I didn't know that every 2 seconds, someone in the world dies of hunger.
And when we don't think about it, it still happens. We're about to start off a concert that's going to change the world. Welcome to Diamonds Around the World 2005!
Raising awareness isn't always about raising your voice. There's power in silence. There's power in silence.
Beautiful nothing, music to my ear.
Our Silent Vigil was 7 days long.
I really wanted to raise awareness about child labor, about all these different social problems that children don't have the opportunity to speak out about.
So stop all your bang clanging.
I've heard of a few people who've done it before. Joe did it, and that was one of the inspirations behind my desire to do it.
Beautiful nothing.
We just wanted to make people really aware, and I think also teach ourselves, too, how that would feel. And we definitely learned how that would feel.
It rolls off my tongue.
I think people are uncomfortable with silence.
If you only knew these thoughts in my head.
I did tease him, actually, a lot.
Throughout the week, I think I probably had every possible emotion there could be. There were times when I just felt so good about what I was doing, and then other times I just felt so depressed and so lonely because you just feel like there's no one.
It was nice to look at Emily and know that she was thinking and feeling the exact same thing as me, and that someone else was feeling as bad and lonely as I was.
I went to classes, they couldn't ask questions, things like that. Using them, I started to realize it was really hard.
Towards the end of the week, they kind of started ignoring me, which was very, very difficult. Kind of like a brick wall was right in front of me.
It's kind of amazing to think of somebody actually not saying a word for an entire week. I think it really makes you think about people in the third world who don't really have a voice.
Some people really got it right away, and I think some people are still struggling with it.
I know you, I can feel you. I don't know what to say, what to do that will make you believe you were strong.
Oh, it was incredible. It was just awesome.
This is my definition. This is my definite vision. This is my definite mission. Definitely step and listen.
It's one of my first times performing on stage with the beat going in the background and the songs, just getting out that socially conscious message.
Step and listen. I ask the corporations if they view with hunger. They respond, they don't give a damn. We might as well go under, but we might as well fight.
I went through a lot of stages actually in my life. I made a lot of choices that I'm not necessarily proud of. I did spend time drug dealing and things like that.
Yo.
It's something that I was able to say, hey, woke up and I said, you know what, I really don't want this anymore. And I wanted to change, but that's a little bit about the old Mikey.
Free at last! Free at last! Let me hear you people shout! Free at last!
My older brother was a person who didn't believe in handshakes.
Free at last because it doesn't even start in the world, it starts in our minds, so we gotta rearrange our thoughts.
And let's give a hug instead of a handshake, and a good hug. Because those kind of things can help change one's day And that's what makes up a life, is many days strung together.
I mean, he was like my greatest inspiration as well as many other people's. He basically said, we are the change we wish to see in this world.
One day we should wake up and see what we want to see, but if it doesn't start with you, it has to start with me. But it's all of us. It's every single we. It's passion and intensity, and it's called level 3. Where does it come from? Your mind, soul, and heart. Because learning to love is a beautiful art.
I think it was Joe that started that whole passion inside me. He wanted to help people realize that we can do something to change the world, you know?
Problem, then you're part of the solution. It's all rise in this revolution. We don't need to pretend to be called humankind.
Peek aside,
Diamonds and a wedding.
in the side.
Children rise up in arms. Soldiers at 8,
Suicide.
9, 10, and 11.
I like to write poems. Thank you. You're cheering for poetry. That's cool. I kind of get nervous when I do poetry, so I'm going to need your silence. Is that okay? Okay. Me to we is what we'd see if we could already be the change we wish to see. Me to we is what we'd see if we could already be the change we wish to see in our lives in each day by the words that we say about the world that we can make by our passions. Let's move from me to we and change the world from what we see to something that embodies generosity. Let's move from me to we and to one home, one family, one race, one globe, one humanity that they call humankindness. Because love ain't dead.
Well, I mean, I can't really explain it. You know, it's your greatest, you know, friend, mentor, family member, inspiration.
It was shocking.
It was something that was really, I think, really hard for me to understand because, you know, of all the people that I had ever met, he was the most amazing person.
You know, we fought, but it's more than just a brotherhood. It was very much like a mentor, father, son, older brother, little brother. It reached a lot of different levels. Joe was a special guy. His influence will continue to carry on forever. But what do you say to a mother of 3 that lost a firstborn and a brother when you wish you could free her heart of all the suffering, the pain and the hurt, the guilt of losing a child to the natures of earth? And the reason I speak is for the tongues that are silent.
It feels amazing to be able to talk again. I think I definitely learned that I'm a lot more conscious of what I say now. I really think about my words rather than just blurting them out.
The vow of silence. I think that's amazing because it helps us reflect on what's really going on in the world. It helps us reflect on what we need to do. And if we can raise money and fundraise to build schools or education, silence can be the weapon for that, a very positive weapon too.
This summer, with the money we've raised, we are going to Calcutta, India.
We're going to be working in Mother Teresa's orphanage, and we're also going to be working with street children.
Enjoy the rest of the concert. Thank you all for coming.
That was definitely a success. Not only did we raise a lot of money, but we got the message out that youth can make a difference, as well as we had a hell of a good time. I mean, I guess one of my greatest passions for doing this kind of work is the fact that there are like 250 million child laborers. But I mean, at the same time, I'm also a believer in very small changes. I mean, it can be as simple as flashing a person a smile on the street, helping somebody who's having a hard time in school, or holding concerts like the one we had last night. Diamonds Around the World raised a lot of money that will hopefully go towards building a school in Sierra Leone.
Another thing you can do is start raising awareness. And like I said before, raising awareness is just a fancy term for telling people about issues. We need to start figuring out how we can start changing the world from thinking me, 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 and moving more thinking something like we. How we turn a world full of lonely people into a family of 6 billion people. How do we do that? Because that's what we're here to talk about today, and that's what we can do with our lives.
Make some noise.
At night, if you're lying in bed, you could hear gunshots.
Make some noise. Get involved. Let your voice be heard.
I better subdue them with my music.
I'm really lucky to have a group of friends who are so enthusiastic and so vibrant, I guess. So when I'm with them, I can just totally relax and goof around and just hang out and not worry. What's going on in the world in general right now is not all that fantastic, I guess. So someone has to do something, and I can do something. I'm not going to be able to do everything, but I can do, my part and do as much as I possibly can. I was born in South Africa, and I lived there until I was 9. At night, you could hear gunshots and see taxis bombed. Just seeing sort of the poverty that people live in and that other people allow these people to live in such poverty fueled my passion for social equality. The way my mom sort of gave up herself for UNICEF and various causes, I just thought that's how you're supposed to do things. Like, that's just what people were supposed to do. She was a very positive role model. When I first came to Canada, I thought it was a utopia. It's safe and a complete paradise. After I lived here for a bit, I realized it has its own problems, and I wanted to do something to be able to make a positive difference. So, vote for me. Challenge is getting people who obviously want to help. So to get them excited about it and to get them to want to do it.
The craziest things that Kyla has asked me to do are all just really last. And we need a poster for advertising all around the school for the carnival by tomorrow.
And they don't always say yes either. Holland, make a website. They don't always say yes.
Last I know to you.
Okay, Will always says yes. It's nice to hear that they don't. Every time I ask them, think oh God, Kyla again.
What? Oh, no way.
Become involved in something. In this day and age, you can't just live in your own bubble. You're part not only of your family, but your community and of your country, but you're part of the world. And just sitting on your butt not doing anything, that's wasting your life.
I'm hungry.
To make money fasting, basically just tell people you know that you are going to be doing a fast.
The hunger comes in waves.
And they'll sponsor you money.
Ever since I got hungry, there's been a little gnaw in my stomach.
It was incredible. We just hung out for 40 hours. Tom didn't like fasting very much. He has almost no body fat. His speech was getting slurred. His stomach was actually concave. We can eat!
Try the mango, it's so good.
We decided to raise money for a local youth shelter. Our first event was a hoedown, which was sort of like a school dance. I was a little worried that maybe some people wouldn't show up because people told me in the hallways that they thought it was lame. There are definitely people who are not interested in helping out, couldn't care less, but it was a success. Honestly, I mean, why wouldn't you do something? Grade 7, okay, just a second. And there were 2 people at school who just had a huge problem with me. And so, I mean, I remember coming into the classroom by myself with them, and they do stuff like throw chairs in my direction and flick glue into my hair during class. They made fun of me for the stupidest things, your grades are too good, and it was very difficult to deal with, and I found it quite upsetting. And I guess I got through it just by realizing that things change and that life moves on. I do like to sort of dig around stores to unwind. That's pretty interesting. Right before an event or whenever things are really busy, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. I decided to have a fashion show. We did a clothing drive and got clothing from our neighbors, our community, people in the school. I don't know when you'd find the occasion to wear that, but Windsor students were our models. I booked the gym. I had to get teacher support. I got a runway. I got sponsors to give us things for free. I don't know how many volunteers we had. It was a lot. I think 60 or something. When it went off so well, I felt very relieved and very happy. I mean, I can't describe the feeling of Just sheer joy that you get when something you've worked at so hard goes off so well.
She just does so much. I don't know anyone else who'd be able to do as much as she does.
I would love to say that things that I have done have inspired other people to want to do things and become involved.
I'm doing a lot more stuff. I'm liking it.
If I have in some way made them want to do something for a good cause,
I feel like I can do more.
then that's fantastic.
She's involved, brings out the best.
Very
She works so
involved.
hard.
She's
It's
a very
just
good
crazy.
friend.
My dream is to one day work for the United Nations, to be able to have an impact on a global level. I just hope to be able to do stuff that I really believe in and I have a passion for, but at a bigger scale.
Yeah. Make some noise.
No girl,
That's kind of kinky.
Message on your underwear is always a good idea.
I was just lucky. I never managed to get dragged off to jail, but I was pretty close a lot of the time.
I could have been killed. I could have been raped. Anything could have happened.
Don't listen to anybody who says it's not possible, especially older people. They don't know what they're talking about.
I like Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee knows how to kick some ass, and sometimes that's what you need to do.